Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session of my counter review using technical analysis. So for today, the flow will be same as per usual. So first I'll go through the economic calendar. Then afterwards, I'll talk about some of the indices and equities. Afterwards, I'll move on to some of the different sectors like the Magnificent Seven, US banks, US and bonds, and EVs. And last but not least, I'll also touch on the counters that you all have in the Q&A. So if you all have any counters that you want me to talk about, you can just feel free to type in the Q&A tab. So without further ado, I'll begin. First up tonight, nothing much going on. I said there's some 3 and 6 month bill auctions at 11:30. Tomorrow, Fed Chair Powell will be speaking at 8:30 p.m. So there's something to look at. Other than that, nothing much. Then Wednesday, FOMC Bowman speaking 1 a.m. API crude oil stock 4:30 a.m. Home sales at 10 p.m. as well as crude oil inventories at 10:30 p.m. Going to Thursday, there's the usual jobless claims at 8:30 p.m. S&P manufacturing as well as services PMI at 9:45 p.m. New home sales at 10 p.m. Then Friday, there's durable goods orders at 8:30 p.m. and Atlanta Fed now at Atlanta Fed GDP now at 11:30 p.m. So yeah, for this week, nothing too much in terms of economic data. Yeah, so that's for it. Next one I'll move on to is the indices and commodities. So first I'll talk about is Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin currently it's just quite sideways. I think the one leading right now is Ethereum. So Bitcoin is just moving sideways with some resistance from this downwards resistance line over here in the short term. Then I think it's just consolidating around the 5 and 10-day moving averages. So I think near term wise, we might just see just continued sideways action. Support might be around 115 to 117K area. Yeah. Then resistance, I think currently there's some resistance around 119.5K onwards. So I think you need to see a breakout of this level, then we might see the strength come back for Bitcoin. Okay, now I'll talk about Ethereum as well, since it's the rally is quite strong right now. So Ethereum, yeah, very strong rally. Currently, as I think as long as it still stays along the 5 MA level, it's still very strong. So that will be around 3,630 for now. Then in terms of resistance, yeah, in terms of resistance, there might be there's a level around here, 3,700. If it goes below that, then you might see some pullback. The next key level will be somewhere close to 4,080, 4,090 area. Yeah, which was previously like a bit of a double top previously. So that's for Ethereum, just a very strong momentum right now. Okay, then next one I'll talk about is the 3 indices. So first one, Dow Jones. Dow Jones still just making sideways kind of price action. So price did a retest of the 20 MA on last Wednesday, found support 43.7K. I think on the weekly there was also a retest of the 5 MA support as well. They're still holding. So I think overall still okay. As long as this 43.9K area still holds. Probably for now still quite sideways. Yeah. So resistance probably 44.7 to 45K area, unless you can try to break out this range. If not, we might just continue to see some sideways price action going on right now. Okay, next one I'll move on to Nasdaq. Nasdaq last week, yeah, still very strong price action. So we saw a retest of the 10 MA at this around close to 20,570 found support. And yeah, this breakout of 20.6K is still valid. So the index continue to go on higher. Likely to see the trend actually continue on. So next resistance level I think will be somewhere maybe 21.1K, where this is the upper Bollinger Band level. And next one maybe 21.5K. Yeah. So I think Nasdaq is still very strong in terms of the price action that we are seeing. Also, yeah, just remaining above the 5 MA on the weekly as well. Then moving on to S&P, also quite similar, but Nasdaq is a bit stronger. So S&P Also, continue to find support with this hammer candlestick on Wednesday, holding support at 5 and 10 MA at around 6,250 over there. So for now, also made a new high on Friday above 6,280. So I think as long as this uh as long as 6,260 holds, I think probably we'll still see momentum carry on. Yeah, then the next key is maybe somewhere close to 6,350 to 6,400. Yeah, this is just a guess if let's say if let's say it's a channel lah, and there's a channel that I plot out in the longer term where I connect the peaks 2021 as well as November as well as November last year, then we might see some resistance closer to 6,350 onwards. So that's it for the indices. And next one, I'll move on to gold. So I think gold is still consolidating sideways, but positive signs is that higher lows continue to be formed while having the same resistance at 3,370. So I think that's still quite positive. On the weekly chart, you can see it is a bit messy, but price is still since it recovered above the 5 and 10 MA levels, it's still holding at support. So that's around 3,335 to 3,343 area. So I think as long as this holds, I think we might see a breakout of this 3,370 level after multiple retests and higher lows being formed. Yeah, then I will expect gold to move higher towards 3,430 to retest this swing high again. Yeah, so overall, in the bigger picture wise, it might be in a bit of an ascending triangle. Yeah, then this one is like a smaller ascending triangle currently. So I think for gold, I think we could see some upside possibly in the short term. Then next one I will talk about is oil. Oil, nothing much going on, just still finding resistance around 68.5 there, then had a pullback. And price failed to hold this 10 MA level, 67, so just moving lower. For now, the short-term moving average is around 67 there is holding its resistance. So you might see some pullback again close to the next support around 65 about there, 65 to 65.50. Yeah, so just some pullback going on overall in a bit of a range for now for WTI oil. Then next one is VIX. VIX just just remaining a bit range bound with resistance around 18.5 right now. Then another resistance might be from this downwards resistance line as well. So that's somewhere close to about 20. So just in the near term wise, just moving sideways with support around 16 about there. So I think we could still see some sideways kind of price action for VIX. And last but not least is I'll talk about is copper. So copper, I think still quite strong. After this spike over here, we had the price retracement to around 550, held the 10 MA level and continue bounce on from there. So we might see price try to go back up to retest the resistance close to 585 around there. So that's it for some of the commodities and indices. Okay, I'll move on to talk about the different sectors. First, starting off with the Magnificent 7. So this is the Roundhill Magnificent 7 ETF Max. So looking at the index wise, still trending very strongly. Last week broke out of this 56 level and just gradually trending upwards. And I think looks like it's starting to move outwards of this channel as well. So I think we probably might see continued upside to test around 50. This next resistance, somewhere close to around 57.50 to 58.20, this area, which will represent a test of the previous all-time highs formed in December last year. So overall for the Max 7 index, still trending very well. Then our next one, I'll look at the individual counters. So first, starting off with Meta. So for Meta, I think it's still holding support around this 700 level over here. Some pullback recently, but overall, probably we'll see some support along in terms of the weekly wise, maybe 685 is the next support, the 10 MA level. Yeah, but for now around think for now there was a bit of a close beat, slightly under the 5 MA of weekly. So a bit of a pullback recently, but I think 680, 605 will be the next support for Meta right now. Yeah, just a bit of a pullback for now. The next one is Apple. So Apple, I think is just still consolidating right now. So I think we might be in a bit of a in this kind of wedge formation over here, just moving sideways, and price is just finding support around 208, uh, around 208 over there. Some resistance over here around 212.50. Yeah, so I think this week wise, if it breaks above this, we might see some continuation of the move upwards. Yeah, to go higher. I think if it can add another one to another sign to double confirm will be whether it can close above this 213 level again, which is this horizontal resistance. Yeah, so I think that's still quite strong. And on the weekly wise, it just did a retest of the 5 MA as well. So yeah, we might see a continuation of the move upwards this week if it can break out this consolidation. And the next key resistance will be around 225, which is this horizontal level here previously. Okay, next one I'll talk about is Amazon. Amazon is, I think, is still trending quite well over here. Price is generally holding the 10 MA as a support level, and last week it had a pullback to test this breakout of 223 held support. So I think we'll likely still see try to go higher to test next. Next one is some resistance. Previously was around 229 to 233, this area over here. Yeah, so that will be the next resistance zone, followed by 242, which was like a double top previously. Yeah, so these just some of the key levels for Amazon, still holding above the weekly 5 MA as well. Then next one, I'll talk about Netflix, which pulled back after the results. So there was around 5% pullback. So I think in terms of the near-term supports for Netflix will be somewhere around 1,180. I think this is one level over here. Next one will be around close to 1,100. Yeah, I think this one, I think if it dips further might be, I think in my opinion might be there might be a bounce. So previously looking at some of the dips for Netflix in the past where the the current RSI is around 41. So previously when if it dips somewhere to close to the 30 level over here, we've seen a few times start of this year around January it dipped to 31, there's some bounce afterwards. Then March and April also we've seen it dipped close to those levels and we see a bounce afterwards. So yeah, let's see whether there's a repeat of this in Netflix. Then there might be a short-term, I think, bounce opportunity for it to look at. Okay, next one is Google, Alphabet. So Alphabet, I think, yeah, still okay. Still, looks like the breakout of this $181 level is still holding quite well. Yeah, price is just still trending along the short-term moving averages. So I would expect price to trend higher to continue generally inside this trend. So the next key resistance, I think currently it's around 106. So next key resistance, I think if clear 186 will probably be around 191, 192, this level over here. Yeah, previously there was a gap down, and this was the highs, and there was some swing lows over here previously as well. So there will be likely the next resistance level. Yeah, I think there's also earnings coming out this week. So let's see how it does afterwards. Then last but not least, I'll also talk about Microsoft. So for Microsoft, I think still very strong as well. Price is just forming higher highs, and also last week we had a breakout again of this 504 level, which there was a dip on Wednesday, continue to find support. So I think as long price is trending along this 10 MA level, probably around 504 right now, then also if it continues to hold this support should be still okay for now to continue the moment outwards. If it breaks, then we might see some slight pullback to test maybe 497, 498 again. And so that's it for some of the big tech stocks. I think overall still very strong kind of price action we are seeing Those are both individual counters as well as the index itself. Okay, next one I'll talk about is the banking sector. So first I'll start with the XLF ETF, the Spider Financial Sector Fund. So I think for this last week, there was a bit of a pullback that took place, then retesting the previous resistance of around 51.60 around there, and there was some bounce taking place. So I think it's still okay in terms of the weekly wise. I think as long as this 10 MA of the weekly, which is around 51.30, is still holding the current uptrend that we're seeing right now should be fine. So unless that breaks, then the next support will be somewhere close to around 49.80, $50 around there. But for now, as long as 51.30 is holding, I think based on the weekly chart, it should be still okay. Yeah, so we might just see some consolidation over here for now. And moving on to the big four banks, first one I'll talk about is JP Morgan. Yeah, so for JPM, after the earnings, I think there was a bit of slight dip. Our price generally still maintaining this horizontal support at 283. So yeah, we might just see some kind of sideways consolidation in the near term, between like 283 to 296 over here. Yeah, on the weekly, also just still holding the 5 MA on the weekly, so probably just a retest. And if this holds at 286, then probably still okay. Yeah, we might just see some slight consolidation for now. Okay, next one, Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, after results, there was a pullback as well. Price sort of still slightly closing at the 5 MA level. But as long as this, I think as long as the weekly $77.40 level on the weekly 10 MA level is still holding, that the uptrend should be fine. So this one, the chart is similar to the XLF that we seen earlier when it's testing the 10 MA on the weekly as well. So a bit of a pullback, over here for now, but this was a prior horizontal resistance level as well. So yeah, we might just see some sideways consolidation with resistance currently, I think 81.50, where this was the breakdown level for now. Okay, next one is Bank of America. Bank of America also, yeah, after results, just a bit sideways, I guess. On the weekly, also tested the 10 MA. The weekly still finding support. So I think this one, as long 45.50 still holding, should be fine. Moving back to the daily, yeah, just a bit sideways right now, I guess, with probably between now 47 to maybe like 49 this area again. So bringing some sideways kind of transaction. And last one, Citigroup, after the earnings, there was a pop upwards. So this one I think is the strongest one right now. Still after earnings, still continue on this strong momentum where price is still holding the 5 MA level. So with a breakout of $90, I think we might still see the price trend higher for this one. Yeah, next recent maybe somewhere close to 100, I guess, in the weekly. So this was based on the past data. Citigroup, the strongest one right now among the big four banks. Yeah, so in general, I think looking at the index and most of the individual banking stocks probably a bit sideways kind of price action right now after the earnings. The next one I'll touch on is the semicons. So for semicons, last week, this was what happened, a bit sideways kind of price action for the index, the Philadelphia Semicon Index. Overall, I think still okay as it's still maintaining this upward support line over here. And also, let me see, on the weekly, it's also still maintaining above the 5 MA level, which it has been trending upwards since start of May this year. So this 5,675 level, I think, is the key for now. So still very strong. As long as this holds, for now, a bit sideways consolidation, but if there's a breakout of 5,800, we're likely to see it continue higher to test the previous highs around 5,930 this level. Yeah, so semicon still, in general, still doing quite well. Okay. Then for next one I'll talk about is NVDIA. NVIDIA, yeah, after the gap up on Tuesday, I think holding a bit sideways, but definitely still very strong. Price has started to trade outside of this uptrend channel over here. So that's a sign of its strength and yeah, still holding about the 5 minute. So I think for now, if there's some pullback, support probably around 170, 171, I guess this area for now. Then a bit of consolidation for now. I guess the next resistance go continue higher would be a retest of the upper Bollinger Band level. So that might be like 177 might be some of the next resistance. So I think just still move, just slowly trending higher continuously for now. The next one, AMD, I think tested another level previously. This was at around 159. Yep, so afterwards there's some pullback towards the 5 MA level. So in this holds, we probably see a bounce off from this level. Yeah, so I think this one is some short-term support at 156 over here. And if this bounce off, we might see the trend continue higher. The next resistance level will be somewhere around 167, 167 this swing high. The next one is around 174. So for AMD also still remaining quite strong right now. And next one, TSM after the earnings gap up, then a bit of a pullback. But I think still okay. Generally, I think the trend is within this uptrend channel over here. And yeah, it just happened, looks like it just happened to touch the general resistance around 240, and a bit of a pullback. So I think as long this level still holds, if there's a retest of the 5 MA as well as this previous resistance to close out the gap, I think it's still quite healthy. Around 237 probably is a short-term support right now. Yeah, so I think this we might see price bounce off from this area to continue the uptrend. Next one, ASML after earnings gap down. Yeah, so for now, I think let's see on the week, how is it? Yeah, on the weekly there was a close below the 5 and 10-day moving average. So probably we might see it dip to the next support maybe somewhere close to 720, which the 20 MA on the weekly. And then on the daily wise, this is also a bit of a 723 is also a bit of a horizontal support over here. Yeah. So this one RSI also around 37. So previously, I think last time it was near oversold. 30 was during the April, the sell down over here. So I think if it goes to those levels, there might be some bounce. So last time previously, I think October last year, after earnings, there was a big drop, but it hit RSI 30, there was some bounce. So if history does happen again, I think we might see some bounce again. If it, let's say, goes to 710, 720 this level. Yeah. Next one, Marvell. Yeah, Marvell after on the daily, after dropping out of this uptrend channel a bit sideways recently, by still holding some of the lower support levels like 67 to 69 this area over here, then doing a bit of bounce quickly. On the weekly, it reconnected with the 10 MA at 69. So I think this is still supported. We might see some bounce upwards from here. If it does hold this 73 level, then we might see some bounce back again towards the current resistance, probably around 77 to 78, this area. Yeah. And next one, Micron. Yeah, Micron is currently doing a bit of a pullback for now. So I think a bit weak right now as there's a break below this 118 swing low support level, and it's quite close to this 110. So previously 110, I think over here was quite a strong resistance. So I think we could see some support coming from this this area over here. Let me see on the weekly, how is it? Yeah, this is also, I think, around the 10 MA, 111. So I think we might see some bounce coming in from this area soon. Yeah, 110 is a support. Next one, if it goes below 104 is the next support level. So, yeah, so I think just a pullback right now for Micron. Then resistance will be this 118, this breakdown. Yeah, I'll talk about two more, which are Broadcom as well as Intel. Broadcom, I think, yeah, just this one is still just trending higher gradually. Last week, so continue to see a higher high being formed, breakout to 277. So just trending along 5 and 10 MAs, yeah, still very strong. Uh, Likely to just see the trend continue. Yeah. This one, Intel looks like a sideways kind of range being formed currently. Positive thing is that still holding above this price resistance of 2240. Yeah, then just moving sideways 20, around here to 24. So we might still see a bit sideways. Might still see a bit sideways price action, but if there's a breakout above 24, then I think that will be quite good. Try to hit the next resistance level upwards, close to 2640 again, the next key resistance. Yeah, so I think in general for the semiconductors, I think the index is still holding up pretty well, despite it being mostly sideways kind of last week. And last but not least, I'll talk about the EV counters. So first up is Tesla. So Tesla, I think it's looking better in terms of the recent price action last week. So this 318 was like this previous support breakdown. Then there was a turn to resistance. Then start of last week, it continued to hold as resistance, but starting on to Wednesday onwards, we can see after multiple tests, price starting to become stronger while holding along the 5 MA level. So 320 was eventually taken out and currently is around 335 pre-market. So I think this 334 previous 333, 334 previously, this could be a bit of a resistance over here previously. Yeah, then the next resistance will be 343. I think this will be a stronger resistance because previously over here, there was a bit of a breakdown over here after the high volume spike. And there might be some trendline resistance over here. So 343 might be a stronger resistance for this week. So earnings coming out in the middle of this week. So let's see how it goes afterwards. I think overall there might be like a wedge being formed for Tesla as well. That's why you see the price action becoming like we see lower highs as well as higher lows gradually that is coiling up. So I suspect after the earnings there might be a big move in either direction that might try to set the trend for the next quarter, for the next few months, I guess. Yeah, so let's see how it goes after the earnings. The next one I'll talk about is new. New just last week as we tested this 4.4 level, holding over here as some resistance. But as long as it continue to trend on the 5 MA, I think we might still see it go high if it can break out 457, the Friday highs. Then the next resistance level I think will be somewhere around 490, 485, 490. Yeah, the next one is around $5.30. Yeah, then for Xpeng, nothing much going on right now. Still, I think just range bound for now between like 17.50 to about $19. So nothing much taking place. Then last one I'll talk about is Rivian. Yeah, Rivian I think hit a bit of hit like this around $12 level. There was a bit of bounce and uh, yeah, starting to look slightly better, but probably still kept in a bit of a range consolidation, I guess. with some resistance of this $14 to 14.80 this and support. Let's see whether it can start to hold a bit of a higher low around 12.80 to 13.30 this area, where this is the 5 and 10-day moving averages that price previously was finding resistance from. Okay, so that's it for the counters. I'll move on to the ones that you all have mentioned in the Q&A. So first up there's a question on the ETH, which is the iShares Ethereum Trust ETFs. So for this, I think it's quite a strong rally. So it looks like hit about 161.8% extension level. Using this swing low around close to $11 and this swing high around 21.78. So there might be some resistance at this area, 28.50. The next one will be around 32.50, I guess. Yeah, for now, this is also there was a swing high previously over here, but I think let's see we should continue on with the momentum. Should continue on with the momentum unless there's a breakdown below the 5 MA. Yeah. So for now, I think still very strong trend as long as it respects this 5 MA. Currently around 24.80. Next key resistance around 31, this previous level. The next one is on MSI. MSI, I think it's nothing much happening right now. Still just range consolidation. Yeah. Generally between like 403 to the resistance at 427. So nothing much taking place right now. Next one, CSOP. Yeah, I'm not sure which counter you are referring to. Maybe you can type it again, check. Then next one, VBK. VBK is the Vanguard Small Cap Growth ETF. So for this, I think it's gradually trending higher. It's still just tends to do a bit of a range bound and gradually trend higher. So last week wise was just moving sideways and finding support for the 20 MA and just moving between 277 to 284 right now. So I think this week wise, if can break above this 284, we could see it try to go higher to test next resistance, maybe around somewhere around 290 to 296, 295 this area. Okay, next one is some of the crypto related counters. First one, Mara Holdings. Yeah, tested this horizontal level around $20, 90 $21. So moving looks a bit sideways. We could see some sideways on price action over here, where support is probably around the 10 MA levels, around $18.80 about there. Yeah, but overall, I think as long as it still holds this support moving average, I think should be still okay. Yeah, then the next resistance I think will be somewhere around $23. Next one is Riot. Yeah, Riot, this one is just still trend following along the 5 and 10-day moving averages. Okay, so I guess we probably could still hit the next resistance. It's around $14.50. Next one is around 15, close to 15.90. Yeah. Okay, next one, the bit mining. Okay, this one after the big gap up, price action the volume has dropped quite a bit. So previously it was 160 million. Now it's every day it's about 1-2 million. Just pulling back on the daily, there might be some support around 3.8, 10 MA. On the weekly wise, I think will be still quite overextended. So it's still quite far from the 5 MA. So I think overall there might be still some further pullbacks along the way. Maybe until it reaches the maybe reconnect the 5 MA again. The Bollinger is also quite far away from the upper Bollinger Band levels. Now, so my guess would be there might be some bounce, then price will continue to pull back further. And next one, BTBT, Bit Digital. So this one looks like a bit of a double top with some resistance around 4.2. Next recent level maybe 4.75 and 5.2. Yeah, but for now looks like a bit of a double top potentially with support near to maybe 3.6 around there. Yeah, so we might just see some consolidation sideways first. The next one is Hive Digital. This one I think is a bit sideways with some resistance around 2.45, but I think overall it's still holding above its previous horizontal resistance 2.1. So I think still okay. We might just continue to see some sideways price action. As long as this previous resistance still holds its support, it might still continue to go trend higher. The next key resistance I think is around close to 2.7. Okay, next on the other counters is Teladoc Health. Yeah, for Teladoc, I think moving sideways right now, I guess. So it's I think it's just between around $7.80 to about $9, just consolidating sideways for now. Then for GameStop I think is still kept in this range. So we can still see resistance is still around 24 that is yet to be overcome. And support is somewhere around 22.50. Yeah, on the weekly wise, is still cannot get above the 5 MA level. So it needs to get above that. Then the next reason may be around 25.60 to 26. Yeah, based on the weekly 10 to 20 MA as well as the horizontal level. So I think we might still see some sideways consolidation unless you can try to break above 24. And next one, EPP at Loving. Okay, for AppLove, I think price a bit sideways, but it's looking a bit positive at the end of the week where it try to hold above try to break out of this 357, this area. So if price can but in the short term, I think there might be still some sideways consolidation with resistance maybe around 380, which was this previous horizontal breakdown level. Yeah, so I think we might see price a bit sideways between like 355 to 380 in the short term. Yeah, but if it can hold these three, because price was pulling back in this range. So if you can hold this break out this range, then I think there might be some upside further on. And this one, Surf Robotics. Surf Robotics, I think moving sideways looks like it right now. So there's general resistance around $12 over here, then support is coming in close to $10. So I think looks moving sideways. Yeah, and if you can overcome $12, the next resistance again will be like 13.50 this to 14.20 this level. This one is ATG at LM Global Education. Overall, it's a uptrend there. I think it might be like a trend line support over here. Yeah, price is doing a bit of a pullback recently, think some support for now will be like this 118 to the next one is around 110 about there. Yeah, so I think for now, price probably pulling back. Still lower highs being formed when there's some bounces. So I think there might be still some further pullback towards somewhere closer to 110 would be very strong support over here, where previously this was a horizontal resistance, and we also have this upward support line over here as well. The next one is Project Technologies. And for this, I think it looks like try to form a double top recently on 760, pulling back. So for now, we might see try to retest this this consolidation, previous consolidation level over here, around like 5.9, so around $6 over there. There might be the short term support for some bounce. And this one is strike. For strike, I think for now probably still continuing on to do a bit of pullback. Yeah, because I think previously it was trending higher, then there's some weakening recently where 143 over here broke down the range. Then over here is when you see price trending lower. So we might see price try to go a bit pull back further to test maybe 128. Yeah, this is another horizontal support. Resistance previously that might tend to support for some bounce. Yeah. Okay, hi DY, your counters. Sorry, C, Nu and NV. C limit. What's one C limited? Yeah, I think price is after this pullback over here where it tested this price resistance 148. You can see the price action is getting better where it crossed up above the short-term moving averages. So it's trending upwards and also cleared this level 160 to 165. So I think for now, we might continue to trend higher to retest this 172 again, this swing high resistance. Yeah. Then afterwards, you might just consolidate sideways. Next one, new holdings. Okay, for new holdings, I think it looks like it's still a bit range bound. So there's still a lot of resistance over here around close to $14, but I think overall the price action is still okay. Still higher lows generally, and this higher side looks like a higher low, higher range consolidation form at between like 1270 to $14. Where previously this was the resistance. So I would think as long as 1270 can hold as support, there might be still some range consolidation going on for now first. Yeah, then subsequently, if these high lows continue, then there might be a breakout above 14. Yeah, afterwards to hit maybe 15 and 16 as the next resistance. The next one, Novo Nordisk. Yeah, I think price is coming back down again for this. On the weekly, yeah, coming back down to below the movement range, like 69.70. Yeah, so I think we might see a retest of this swing low support again, 63 to 64 again. Then there might be some bounce, but overall, I think it should be still quite weak for now. Yeah, with probably resistance around 67, 68. But the next one is MSTR, Coin and IB. Now for MSTR, I think for now, I think there was it hit around 440 this previous resistance level, then price consolidated consolidated sideways until then Friday there was a selling that took place. So I think on the weekly wise, you might reconnect with 5 ME for deeper pullback. So next support level I think is around 415. That will be the next support. For now, maybe some sideways consolidation first, I guess. Yeah, then if you can try to break above 450s again, then we might see a continuation of the uptrend. The next one, Coinbase, I think. Okay, Coinbase actually, I think it's very strong recently. It hit the previous all-time high already. I think around 445. That was like the IPO highs. So we might see some dips, I think, around here. But I think as long as it stays around the 5 MA, I think it should be still quite okay. So there's some support maybe around 406 around there for now. Overall, they are still a very strong counter. It just there was it rose quite a lot recently to test this previous high back in 2021. My next one, I beat iShares, the iShares Bitcoin Trust. So for this, I think looks like a bit after the breakout of this looks there's a like cup and handle formation. So I think breakout of that uh looks like a bit sideways recently. So I will expect some consolidation first, and then to hold maybe support is around 65.50 around there. Then maybe trade from here to 69 sideways afterwards. Then it might continue the upwards momentum. Okay, next one, Snowflake, I think is still quite well supported. The pullback recently at prior resistance is still holding a support 210. On the weekly wise, it's also hit the 10 MA pullback, 210 as well on the 10 MA, so it's finding support. So I think probably we see a on range consolidation continue first. Yeah, between 210 to 226 for now. 210 finding support. Yeah, so we could still see the uptrend continue on. Next one, Cadence Design Systems. So this one still holding resistance. 325 is a very key resistance that has tested multiple times. But recently, I think if let's say 310 over here, this can hold as support. I think I'll be more optimistic of a breakout taking place afterwards. Yeah, if it does a build up at a higher low area, and this is like a resistance before this gap out place. Yeah, so looks like still sideways consolidation. So I'll be watching to see whether 310 can around there can continue forward support. On the weekly, this is also the 5 and 10 day moving averages. 5 and 10 moving averages as well. So probably this range consolidation for now. Yeah, and see whether can try to break above 325. Next one, MP Materials. Yeah, this one that's riding on very strong momentum right now. I think there was a bit of resistance at 60, but it looks like it's overcome on it. Overcoming on Friday, probably at new highs as well. Yeah, so I think for now it's probably just going on the momentum, I guess. as long as continue to stay along the 5 MA level where then that we might still continue to see the uptrend continue on upwards. Yeah. So some support for now probably like now it's around 57, 70 based on the 5 MA level. And next one is INTA int app. Okay, so for this, I think yeah, price is just pulling back over here. Still goodness where broke down a few horizontal spots like 52, around 52, 50, 47, 52. Now back to retest 43. Yeah, so that it might hold a bit over here, but I will still expect resistance might still come from the moving averages around here like 40, 40, close to 44.80 lah. Yeah, so I think still quite weak for now. The next one is OPFI. So I think for this one might there's break below the weekly 10 MA, so we might come back to maybe 1070 where somewhere closer to the weekly 20 MA as well as horizontal supports on the daily. So this was previous reasons might be test to become a support in. Next one, Blackstone. Yeah, I think this one is still quite strong. So last week we saw a breakout of this 160 around 163.6 resistance, but previously this was the support breakdown, and now it's close to the 134.40. There's resistance as well. Next recent level will be around 185 over here. Yeah, so I think it's still quite a strong trend where price is just trending along the 5 and 10 day moving averages. So as long as this still holds, as long as 100 this breakout still holds, I think we could still see price go higher, try to move higher. I think there's also earnings coming out later this week, so let's see how it goes afterwards. Okay, hi Sharon, your counters. Please provide two support and resistance for Dell, Micron, and Alphabet A. Okay, first one for Dell support. I think some support right now is 125, and next one is maybe 100, close to 120 around there. Resistance, I think next one is around 138 as well as 140, 146 afterwards. And then micro, I think there's a support right now that is around 100, 110, 111, this level. Next one is around 104. In terms of resistance, there's one around 118, then next one is around 124. Yeah, then next one for Alphabet A, support right now probably 181. Then lower than that will be like 177. And for resistance, next one, I think it will be like 192. Then next one will be somewhere around close to 200, somewhere around there. Yeah. Okay, next question, please comment on the TA of Alibaba, Bilibili, and ELV. Okay, 9988 Alibaba. Yeah, so for Alibaba, I think is looking better recently. So after this dip over here, can see price actually this was like the 200 MA level, so very strong support over here at 103. Then there was a strong recovery back above this 109 previous breakdown level. And afterwards, you see the price action is actually quite strong, where there was a where price held this swing high at 116, and also there looks to be a breakout of this downwards resistance line as well. So if this is holding at 115, 116, I think there could be more upside to come. Yeah, I would think Alibaba, probably there might be some positive upside towards 122, 125 to fill up this gap over here, as long as 115 can hold as support. The next one, Bilibili. Okay, I think this one is also looking good. So looks like a very big range consolidation and broke out the resistance at 190. And also has been just trend following along the way recently. So I would think there could be some further upside ahead to test the next level. I think it's around this 209. And fully you can try to test 238 against this swing high. Yeah, so I think BDB is quite good as well. The next one, Elevance Health, ELV. I think after earnings there was a drop. Generally it has been trending downwards since like August last year. To see that this might be a level area of support. Previously was resistance at 270, around 270. And the next area to look at lower, somewhere lower will be like 238 around there. Yeah, no, yeah. I think on the weekly, the RSI is also quite low, 21. Yeah, so I think overall, at least there might be some bounce soon if there's some, if the volume starts to come lower, starts to be lower, and we see the candlestick starts to become smaller, then that probably hint that the selling pressure is getting weaker at a certain level. Then we might see some slight rebound. Okay, there's a question: which time frame are you preferring for the chart? 30 day, 90 days, 6 months, or 1 year? The reason to each time frame. So I think generally I would look at probably at least 1 month to 3 months kind of time frame. I think generally that's something I try to look at for in terms of like if I try to initiate some trade recommendations. I think that's like the rough time frame I'm looking at as well. Yeah. Then I think because that's not too short, and also I think within 3 months you should be able to hit some of the target levels as well. That's why I believe 6 months a bit longer. Yeah, that's like 2 quarters, and not sure whether that's probably more longer term time frame, I guess. Okay, then there's a question. Nibius Group MV, is the chart still strong? Okay. Yeah, Nibius last week I had a technical buy call on it, so I would think that it's still quite strong. I still like it because price has been consolidating in this bullish trend over here. So price was forming like higher, gradually trending higher. And the good thing was that this area like 44, this was like a prior swing high resistance, right? Good thing is that it held as a support over here. So I think over here still consolidating sideways, but as long as you can try to break above this 25-50 resistance, I think I'm quite positive that it can try to trend higher towards next one is around next resistance maybe 59.50, then 65. Sorry, yeah, that's for Nibia. So I think cut is still strong. Yeah, there's multiple tests of the resistance over here, and hopefully it starts to form a higher lows, preferably around above the moving averages like 50 uh 50 to 53. I think there's also earnings coming middle of this week. So let's see how it goes afterwards. Okay, hi James. Your contact is JXLV and now J is Jacobs Solutions. Okay, so I think yeah, this one gradually trending upwards, trending higher for now. I will expect some resistance to come in again. 141, 143 this area. Previously there was like see the upper wicks being formed around this area previously. Yeah, so there might be some resistance where price will do a bit of pullback. But I think it might still hold some support. Maybe around 137 about there. Next one is XLV, the health spider healthcare ETF. For this, I think is trending, continue to trend downwards. Recently, I think it's a range bound. So between around 129 to 136 about there. So just range bound. Unless there's a breakdown below 129, then we might see continuation of the downwards momentum. Where the next support, I think, is somewhere like 118 to 122. Yeah, for now, probably just still sideways. And for service now looks a bit sideways. I think earnings coming out middle of this week as well. Yeah, on the weekly, there was a breakdown, uh, the 5 and 10 day moving average. So probably that might be the short-term resistance around 900, around close to 990 to 1,000. Yeah, then I think support will be like somewhere 920s to 920 to 936 over here. So probably we might see some sideways at this kind of price action. Okay, I see there's a question. Is the session recorded? Yeah, it's being recorded. Will be there's a live recording going on YouTube right now. At the PhillipCapital YouTube page. Yeah, so I think if you want to review some of the counters being mentioned, feel free to actually look at the recording afterwards at PhillipCapital YouTube page. Thanks. Next one upward side. I think for now just looks like it's trending range for yeah. It's between like 1280 to 1380. Nothing much going on, I guess. Then for Twilio, I think is still quite good. So this was a range consolidation between like 112.70 to 103.50 about there. Price tried to break out last week. I think it's still holding previous recent support. So and trend and making a higher high. So I think that's still a very good sign after this range consolidation to continue the upwards recovery over here. So I think we could maybe see price try to higher to test 135.60 maybe at the next resistance. And next one maybe around 151 about there. Yeah, so I think Twilio is still looking quite good. Next one is T-Mobile. So for T-Mobile, I think it's still a bit sideways for now, but overall it could be trading within this downtrend channel. So sideways, I think this 222 previous horizontal resistance, also this gap area holding as support, then resistance is somewhere like 238 to 243 onwards. So just could be sideways for now. So earnings coming out this week. Yeah, so let's see how it goes afterwards. Okay, next question. Can you share your view on applied materials? Yeah, okay, let's look at the chart. Applied materials, I think tested this swing high 100 around 199, doing a bit of a pullback for now. So I think we might see a reconnect of the 5 MA on the weekly, where it has been holding around support. So that might be somewhere around 106, around there. And so I will expect some short-term pullback for now. Maybe 100, 185, 186. This is also the horizontal level also as well. So that might be the support for applied materials. Hi Eugene, what do you think is the price potential for C Limited? Is C Limited? Okay, since the recovery from like start of January last year, I think the uptrend has been still intact overall, even though there's been some notable dips along the way. But the general trend, the primary trend is still very high, very much intact. So I think next price target probably can test 200. I think would be this. This was like a very key support breakdown previously. Yeah, so I think could see that being tested somewhere. Let's see. But now it's around 168. So I will give it maybe somewhere close, maybe by maybe by year end, maybe November, December. If it continues the trajectory, it might test like 200 to 230 this area. If everything goes according to plan, continue on the uptrend. Yeah, that's my guess. Okay, next one, there's a question on United Health. Okay, United Health, I think last week we've seen weakness back in stock. So previously it was trading sideways. I think I sort of drew added in this channel over here where price broke down. So yeah, once you break down this 302 level over here, not very good because this was like a price broke over here, held as support, then break out again, held as support afterwards break downward. So this is a bad sign over here, and this level at 292 also gave way. So I think overall not very on the weekly wise. On the weekly, it still continue with finding resistance along the 5 and 10-day, the short-term MAs. So if that continues on, we might see price continue to find weakness maybe towards like 250 to like 270 this area. Yeah, it might do a double bottom over here. Yeah, let's see. Then I think if it does, then there'll probably be some bounce afterwards. Okay, next one is on Pfizer. Yeah, Pfizer, I think after last Tuesday, not very good because it was slowly trending higher. Then last Tuesday, this bearish candlestick with a breakdown of this few lines. This was a downwards recent line, so it didn't hold this level. Next one is $25, which is this swing high over here at the previous support level. So there was a breakdown as well. So if price continue remain below 25, I think we might see some pullback towards like 20. This support somewhere closer to 2370 to 24 in this area. Yeah, for Pfizer. Okay, I think there's a question on Alibaba which I answered just now, but I think there's still about 5 minutes left. So yeah, I'll just talk about it again. For Alibaba, I think it's looking better. So in more detailed explanation is that I think we tend to see some recoveries like in terms of whenever there's a pullback towards the 200 MACD this purple line. So a few times I think previously when price tested this like August last year as well as start of this year when there was a pullback. Price tend to rebound quite strongly from this level, and recently also tested at 103 this level. So for now, I think the price action is still quite good as well. And there was a strong clean breakout back above this 109 level, and price is holding back above the previously during the pullback phase over here. Price was finding resistance from the some of the around the 20 MA, the 10 and 5 this short-term movements. Now you're seeing it price trading above that is starting to slope upwards as well. So that's a good sign. I think also another thing is that this 115 around here was like a bit of a resistance as well. So there was some pullback, but price continued to then Friday continued to pull around here, and today there's a gap up as well. So if here continues to hold as support, I'll be quite positive for price to continue higher to test this 121 again. And next level will be to close out this gap at 125 about there. Yeah, so I think Alibaba should be still quite okay. Okay, then there's a good question. Hi, how much gap up and down is considered significant generally? I would think normal gaps like this, the significance maybe somewhere close to like, I think maybe 5, I would think maybe 4-5% would be quite significant. 1-2% probably nothing much. It also depends on whether it's also after depends on whether there's like earnings, whether there's like earnings coming, it happens like after the earnings or this also. Yeah. So in general, I think like normal, if there's nothing going on, like no earnings, nothing, then maybe 1-2% probably quite normal. Then 4-5 maybe something different. Yeah. Okay, I think I'll end the session today. I think there's no more questions, so maybe I just stop sharing my screen. Okay. Yeah, then give a moment, I will share the survey form link in the chat. Just give me a moment. Okay. Yeah, so I feel I've dropped the survey form in the chat. So you can feel free to fill up if you have feedback about today's session, how you can improve your experience further in future. If you like today's webinar as well, you can feel free to drop a feedback as well. I'll appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, welcome. Feel free to join our PhillipCapital community of technical analysis if you haven't. So you can actually download it using the link I put in the chat over here, and that will guide you to the PhillipCapital app where under the community section, we have many different groups where if you're interested in TA, you can actually drop some questions and also see some of the posts and comments over there. Also, there's other groups like Singapore investing, US investing, all those. Yeah, so feel free to explore around if you are new. Also, if you are new or if you haven't joined, you can feel free to join this the Poems TA Telegram group as well. So the handle is over here at Poems TA. Yeah, so over there, same as the PQ, I'll post all the TA content. If I think there's any possible good trade setups, then I think I'll post it over there as well. So yeah, you can feel free to join in the community. Yeah, so I think that's all for today. Appreciate all of you for joining in and also leaving all your questions. I think this week, in terms of economic events, nothing much, but there's gonna be a lot of earnings that's starting to come out. After last week, there was banks and Netflix. I think this week a lot of more earnings. There's also some big tech as well. So I think if you're holding counters that have earnings coming up, so just do take note of like all these events that's gonna be taking place. So I think that's all for today. I hope you all have a good trading week ahead, and I hope to see you all again in the next session. So good night everyone, and bye bye. Have a good week ahead. Bye.